Hey, Kyle here. Okay, I want to talk real quick about a temporary rate buy down. I don't want to get too into the weeds with it, but I think it's a very important thing in a high interest rate market for buyers to understand as well as agents, um, how it can help mitigate the payment and affordability issues right now. And I've seen time and time again where there is opportunity to use this program, and I'm not seeing it utilized. And so, in to keep it as simple as possible, what the temporary rate buy down is it's a credit that we receive from the seller, so it can't be paid by the buyer. The seller is contributing essentially to prepay interest on the buyer's mortgage payment for a certain term. So in this example, I'm showing a 2-year buy down, also called a 2-1 buy down. What that means is if we say that today's rate, if I locked you in today, let's just say the rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, conventional, yada, 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 is 6.99%. Let's just say that that's what the rate is. The 2 and the 1, what they mean is the first year, your rate is 2%, or your payment is 2% lower than that 6.99. So you can see here, year 1, you're paying a payment based on a 4.99% rate. The 1 means in year 2, it's 1% lower. So you're now at 5.99. And you can see what it does in terms of payment. That first year, it essentially is $7,700 cheaper. Second year, it's $3,900 cheaper. And then obviously after the 2 years, then you're back to the 6.99 and a normal payment. So it's $642 a month cheaper in that first year, $329 the second year. How this is structured in is the seller has to pay this money into an escrow account, into your escrow account when you close on a house. And that's done by when we negotiate, when your agent negotiates, and I help with the agent negotiate on the price you're going to pay on the house. Let's just say this house is at $625,000, and the house has been on market for a little while, and we think there's some negotiating room. Well, I coach my agents to one look at, well, how much can we think we can get? How much do you think they're going to drop price here soon? Well, they're probably going to drop it, I don't know, $25,000, $20,000. Well, that's actually enough probably to cover all your closing costs and get a 2-year temporary rate buy down. So instead of having them drop price and negotiate price, we want to get closing costs and a temporary buy down. Because the reality is, if we're just looking at the temporary buy down, this cost is $11,000 for the seller. If you drop price that same amount, so instead of 625, you go down to 604 or 614, it's only moving your monthly payment by about $50. It's not really benefiting you. So we want this temporary buy down because $642 a month less in payment is a lot. It's a lot bigger hit. In a positive way to your bottom line cash flow compared to $50 a month. So that's how a temporary buy down works. There's also a 3-year buy down. Obviously, it's a bigger cost the seller would have to contribute. There's also a 1-0 buy down. So maybe we can't get quite as much, but we can get like $5,000, and that's enough to get a 1 year. Well, 5.99 is still better than 6.99. And the entire purpose of this program is that the intent is you're going to refinance at some point, probably within these 2 years. So instead of paying tens of thousands of dollars to get a permanent rate buy down, which isn't like show you in this example, if you were to just say, I'm going to 5.99 rate for the rest of my 30 years, and I'm going to pay for whatever that costs, that's $20,000 today. If you wanted to 4.99, it'd be about $50,000. Doesn't make sense to do if we know rates are going to come down at some point. They're not going to stay at 7%. At some point, they're going to come down in the next year, 2 years. At some point, they're going to come down. And you're going to refinance. So you're not going to hold this loan for very long in a high interest rate market. So when we're looking at a temporary buy down, that's what we're thinking is that, okay, I'm going to refinance this at some point. And the cool thing is, let's just say you refinance after 1 year. Well, you've spent $7,700 of the $11,000 that's in there. You get this $3,900 back when you refinance. That money goes back to you. And if you're not clear on how this rate buy down works, well, if you notice that the amount you're saving on a monthly basis, $7,700, then $3,900. That comes to the total of the $11,000 that the seller put into it. So they're prepaying your mortgage interest for those first 2 years. Obviously, more $642 worth a month in a month for the first 12 months, and then another $329 for that second the second 12 months, the 2 years. So that's a temporary buy down, very beneficial. Always something to be looking at. Unless you're in a multiple offer situation, to me, this is something I always look at.